Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the social innovator, philanthropist Chukwuka Monye has declared his intention to contest for the office of the President of Nigeria. He'll be discussing reasons why he's vying for this position and what he will be bringing on board if he wins. This issue of insecurity is so in our face. And I know that the last administration lost elections primarily because of this issue of insecurity. The new one that came in for change, we had expected that the issue of insurgency would have reduced by now. In your view, what is your approach? What would be your own approach to tackle insecurity, especially in the north regions of the country?
So insecurity, yes, the north, is experiencing a lot of, issues with insecurity, but it's not just a northern challenge. Insecurity is actually a national, it's a national problem. And I think when I try to, break down this issue, I like to look at it from two angles, okay? There's the physical insecurity challenge, and then there's a social dimension to it. Because you cannot separate the two, There's a reason why people get into different ills of the society, get involved. And one huge reason is poverty. Poverty, unemployment, you're idle, what else am I going to do? I'm broke.
I need to eat.
I need to eat. I need to do something. I need to find a way to survive. Okay. That in itself is a major contribution to why there's a high level of insecurity. But there's also a physical angle to it. And one of the things I say often is that even if you speak to the average man on the street, they will tell you that there's little they are proud of, even when it comes to the security forces. There used to be a time when we were proud that, the armed forces of Nigeria, they went to this, ECOMOG days, That's what I remember. And, even at the time when I'm talking to other people, I feel like, I'm a Nigerian, man, we have power, And there was pride, even when you talk to people in the forces. Today, that's not the case.
Me and Mariah were on opposite ends on this subsidy issue.
Okay.
All the time. Remove it, don't remove it. Don't create a bigger hardship on the people. How would you solve subsidy removal or the problem within that sector that, is making us pay the subsidy without necessarily creating hardship on the people?
That point, still coming back to all these other things we spoke about earlier, which is let people become, when people ask me why am I running, I say that I just want to restore the dignity of the average Nigerian. And I use the word dignity for a reason. Right now, I just don't feel that Nigerians
dignified
are dignified. They can't earn a living. They can't pay for their own power. They can't pay for anything. It's difficult.
It's scary.
It's difficult. So if you then say, remove subsidy, it's like you want to just kill me now. Oh, yeah, carry me and go. It's too much. It's beyond choking. So if you want to remove subsidy, do something that makes me feel like a human being again. Why is it okay that we say Nigerians are great people, but Nigeria as a country is not great?
What do you therefore do? They wanted to give 5,000 naira to...
Absolutely not.
So what's that thing? I need you to answer that. So what's that thing? So if you remove it today...
You shouldn't remove it first.
Okay. What do you do first?
Let things get better first. And we're talking about from multiple angles. We've talked about the business angle. We've talked about education. What are we doing?
So with a plan to pay 3 trillion of subsidy in 2022, if you were president today, what would you do? Would you pay 3 trillion and do something like maybe start refineries? Or what?
How can you pay 3 trillion and start refineries? Which money? Where's the money?
What would be that middle ground?
No, it's not a middle ground.
What would you do?
It's a cocktail. It's a hybrid. It's a mix of a number of things.
So
sometimes we make it simple. So you say, okay, do this and then you do this. It's not as straightforward as that.
I was discussing something recently with somebody. We're talking about godfatherism. And somebody was telling me that, listen, they understand how people hate the concept of godfatherism. But actually, godfatherism has actually helped in other societies where if you have a good godfather, who actually indeed has the interest of his constituents in his heart, he can actually raise leaders to actually take over. So in my view, I mean, what do you think? Do you think Nigeria is ripe not to have godfathers? Do you think, because when you see the way people, the average person out there does, and you're thinking, this is some of the reasons why either we need a godfather, we don't need a godfather in politics. So in your view, are we ripe to exist without godfatherism, or do you think that we still need to have some godfathers, at least push some people up out there?
Let me jump on what you said. Do we need godfathers or founding fathers leave us a document that guides so that how do we do it?
Right.
You cannot rule out the role of godfathers. I think many times the real concern is what our definition of godfatherism is, or the type of godfather we're talking about. You know, there are some people that will tell me, because I mentor a lot of young people, I am a godfather in my own right. Right? So it really depends on what your definition of godfatherism is. If your definition is, you know, someone who's a mentor, who's guiding, who's helping you become a better person, who's supporting you as best as they can, without necessarily expecting some sort of return, you know, because that's also, you know, a factor. Yeah. Someone who's doing such and supporting you is a good.
And in politics,
it's okay, but
you would find it.
But that's not what we have now. There's always return on investment expected. So when you're pushing the billions, you got to pay back somehow.